My dad is an earth mover. He's extremely hardworking in a very physically demanding field. And the other day he needed a hand and he was like, Jack, are you available? I said, yes, I don't have a shoot that day. I'll come give you a hand. Not knowing what I signed up for, it was essentially 16 hours over 2 days of intense shoveling and compacting. Needless to say, it was the hardest work I've ever done. I completely have a newfound respect for one, the dollar, two, hardworking tradies that get grossly underpaid and extremely overworked. I'm not shitting on an occupation like a trade. What I am doing is saying I'm extremely grateful for the career path that I've chosen. I know I'm extremely privileged to do it, but sometimes when I'm under a lot of stress, I'm like, maybe that grass is greener. I now know for a fact it is not.
I used to be a plumber gas fitter and it was interesting. The worst part was probably like just being like absolutely buggered at the end of the day and you just like, I just want to veg out and do nothing right now. And then I'll go to sleep and then I'll get up the next day and do it all over fucking again. I wouldn't say it was the worst job in the world. It was just like, I felt like I wasn't progressing into anything. It was just like, this is gonna be it forever. I always used to draw as a kid, like I used to be a pretty decent drawer and I was just always in that creative space. And then like, I obviously didn't know what to do as a career and I just went into like a standard, like Australian tradie job. And then of course, hobby photographer, slowly taking days off work to like do jobs. And then that just got to a point where I was just like, fuck it, just go all in.
If you type into Google, what makes a great job, these things come up. I'm going to break them down one by one, and it's going to prove my point that videography is the best job in the world. So obviously the first thing that people are very interested in is money. It dictates the way that a lot of people live their life, sadly, but also I am somewhat driven this way as well. So say you're doing weddings, which it's in my arsenal. It's quite oftenly associated to a videographer. For me, I charge around $3,000 to $4,000 per wedding. So if I was to do one of those per week, not that I do, but if I was to do one of those per week, over 50 weeks, say you're working 50 weeks in the year, that is like $180,000. So to do the bare minimum and shoot 1 day a week, you're immediately earning double average income. Now you're not always going to get like a high paying wedding, but it's a good example of like, of what you get paid for the amount of hours you put in. And I feel like the monetary gain of like a lot of other jobs where you have to like labor harder and put in more hours, it doesn't pay as well as videography. Now this brings me to my second point, which is security, meaning job security and like how guaranteed hours you will have. And which it's not. You're not always going to get like a wedding per week. I don't do a wedding per week. I've about 10 weddings lined up over the next 12 months. And it fluctuates so greatly. Like last month I had like an unbelievable, probably the best month I've ever had. It was like hammer and tong. I was pretty much shooting every day or every second day and trying to turn around things like that night. Like it was exhausting. You'll have months like that and then you'll have other months where like you probably might get like 2 jobs and you're like, oh no, am I ever going to get a job again? So yeah, job security fluctuates completely, as I'm sure it does with like anyone that owns their own business. You can't guarantee what's going to be coming in. But that's the risk you take with owning your own business. And I feel like that's why not everyone does it, because that is like a massive risk to take. If you've got like insurance and like rent to pay and like liability and like subcontractors and stuff like that, there's just like, it's a lot. Career opportunities and advancement prospects, meaning is there like a learning curve that you can like keep striving for, goals, etc. My goals for the last couple of years has just been making money. So I have a number associated to it. That is my goal. I'm already like, I own my own business, so I'm already like the CEO or whatever you want to call it. I know that doesn't really count, but yeah, like I'm already at the top of, I guess, like my own business, but then it's just expanding your knowledge and getting better at what you do. Especially with like a solo filmmaker situation, your work is purely reflected upon your knowledge and your ability and what you can execute. So that gives you like the drive to just keep getting better. And that is the learning curve or the advancement prospect that you'd be seeking. Is it a safe work environment? Yes, unless you're doing like gnarly stunt coordination and like having to be one of those filmers that jumps off buildings and like, but you're probably realistically not going to be that guy unless you really want to be that guy. It's a very safe working environment. I don't think I've ever been in have I been in danger doing this job? There's a couple of times where maybe I was pushing the bill to being in danger, but that is purely on me. The job wasn't requesting that from me. That was me trying to be like, I want to get the sickest shot, and maybe I'm standing off a cliff or something like that. The shot came out mad, but maybe it's a little bit dangerous. But it's purely at your discretion again. That is what I keep reiterating is the beauty of this job, is that it is purely on you. How safe you want it to be, how much time you want to work. It's like, it's the most liberating thing to just be able to do whatever you want, whenever you want. But also you got to work, you got to work sometimes. I'm not saying you don't have to work, you got to work. But you can just do it more on your terms, which I think is like the best part about it. Job content. Is it scratching an itch? Is it meaningful, fulfilling work? If you're passionate about videography and film and movies and stuff like that, then absolutely. It's like, it is all I think about, like 99% of the time. Other time is food consumption. But for the rest of it, it's like, it's film and stuff. Like, I love just the pursuit of progression, and I love just like creating something that never existed. You fully comprehend it in your head and fathom it, and then you just like execute it and you make something. And that is like the most satisfying thing in the world. And that's why I believe this is the best job in the world. But if you're not passionate about film, this job would freaking suck for you. You would hate, it would just soul suck you, because you're like, I hate everything about cameras. So if you love it, you'll love it. You know what I mean? And I don't want this whole video to be like shitting on other careers. Yeah, I tried like earth moving and being a bit of a tradie for like a couple of days. Yeah, Michael, it was a plumber. They weren't for us, those jobs, but maybe they're for you. Like my dad, I feel like he was a farmer when he was younger. I feel like he's loved most of his job. He hates it now because he's been doing it for so long. But he's like, he loved it for most of his life, I feel like. It's just machinery and stuff, and he was always like a very hands-on guy. Whereas me, like, my sister and I used to make movies with a little camcorder when we were kids out here. And that, like, and like Michael was saying as well, he did the same thing. So I think it very much needs to align with your passion and what you want to do. But I guess in a bigger picture, while I biasly think videography is the best job, I feel like a lot of other people that do their own passions, whether that be plumbing, whether that be like lawyering or doctoring, like whatever you want to do, you want to help people, that's great. But like I feel like life is too damn short to do something that you hate, because even I'm 26 years old and my 10-year school reunion is next year. In my head, I'm still living in like the year after I left school. Time has gone so fast. It is exponentially faster once you leave school as well, because you're doing what you want. You're not like stuck in this like regimented schedule. It scares the shit out of me, and it really does make me realize that like I need to do what I want, because this isn't going to be forever. And when I leave, what do I want to leave behind? And for me, that's like a whole bunch of probably kind of shit movies that I have like a bit of a legacy in that department. And I love what I'm doing, and I love the pursuit of progression in it. If I could conclude this in any way, I'd say if you don't know what your passion is, try everything. If you know what your passion is, pursue it all guns blazing, because one day you wake up, you'll be 26 years old making a video about why other people should do what they want to do. Love you. See ya.
I remember being a kid and I would write scripts on my computer, and we would go and film that script when I was like 10 or 11. We used to like borrow mum's like VCR bloody camera and film them and we'd like adjust the script, and like, because we didn't know how to edit, so we'd like rewind the tape to the point and then just like record over it. Looking back now, I was like, I was really interested in that. Why did I not keep going? Look at like life's satisfaction. If you're not happy, change it. Why stay in something when you're not happy? It's like a relationship. You're not going to stay in a bad relationship. Like, you just get out and then you'll be happier.
Perfect, man. That's epic. Thanks, Ed.